Welcome back to the Iowa Sports Connection. I want to thank Wyatt Schultz for coming into the studio tonight as we talked a little high school wrestling. And we're brought to you by Hy-Vee, and they like to make the lives easier, healthier, and happier for all of Iowa's student athletes, coaches, officials, and teachers of Iowa's high schools. Now let's switch gears. We love Simpson, and we don't talk to him often enough. We talk to our buddy, of course, GQ, the new men's basketball coach. But it's time to talk women's basketball with Brian Niemuth. Brian, how are you this evening?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Well, I got to ask you first question. A little tough with Charles Z. Zanders coming in the house, flashing all those new wardrobes he has. Has he shared any of his suits with you, or are you just going to keep your own style now that he's down there?
Yeah, I told him he's overpaid. He's already outdressing me. He's only been there 1 year. So
that tells you what the high school ranks was like, Coach.
That's right. That's right.
Well, let's talk about it. How many years now for you over at Simpson College?
24, believe it or not.
You still look young, though, brother.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm embarrassed sometimes to say how long I've been there, but I've enjoyed every year.
Well, when you're as old as Tony and I, don't be embarrassed. Longevity is wisdom as far as we're concerned. At least we tell
I'll go with that.
Yeah, at least that's what we tell each other.
Yeah.
Well, for those who don't know about Simpson College and the Storm women's basketball program, one thing it's always been fun for me, knowing you and watching the program over the years, is the style of basketball you play. And the girls who get to, or the young ladies, I should say, not girls anymore, that end up at Simpson, I don't care where they're at in the roster, whether they're sitting on the bench or in the starting lineup. There's really no starting lineup and really no bench in reality, because you love to platoon them in and love to platoon them out. You like to run it up and down the court.
We do. We have a top 10, and I tell them every year, to me, it doesn't matter who starts and who comes off the bench. We try and make them check their egos at the door when they decide to join the program. The important thing is that everybody gets to play and everybody gets to contribute, and our style is not quite as extreme as Grinnell, but we definitely like to get it up and down the court. We press, we run, so you got to have a lot of depth to do that, and to get that depth, you've got to have girls that are willing to sacrifice a little bit of playing time, understand more people are going to play, but that we're keeping fresh players on the court.
And one thing also, when you look at the roster, it's Iowa high school kids that really, across this roster, you have a few kids from Arizona. What do they think about this Iowa winter so far?
Well, I think it's always an adjustment for them, and Doreen, our starting point guard, we just went down there for a Christmas holiday tournament, and her family had us over, and it's a different culture. We walked in their house, no grass anywhere. They rake their yard, they don't mow it. So it's for her, it's definitely quite a change to come up here and be around all this snow.
Well, when she saw that 5 below, she probably was cussing that you were such a great recruiter.
Yeah, the thing is, when we went down there, it was the coldest it had been in 20 years. We went to Sedona for a day, and so they blamed us for bringing the cold weather down to them.
Well, some names for those who follow Iowa high school girls basketball over the years that you either saw them at the state tournament, or they were highly touted kids that had some great success in high school level, also having success there. And one of them out of Woden, Crystal Lake, Tatanka, Stacy Suture, having another great year.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the premier players in the league and probably in the nation. She was an honorable mention, All-American last year as a sophomore. So she's even stepped her game up a little bit more this year, and she combines nice size with athleticism, and she's been a very strong player for us.
Amy Hamilton's had such good success there as well. She's been a nice a catch for you to come out there, and she continues to be one of your leaders as well.
Oh, she's kind of the yin and yang with Stacy. She's the one that stretches the defense. She really shoot the three. She led the nation her sophomore year in three-point shooting, and Stacy's the presence inside, Amy's the presence outside, and we've got some other local kids that are really doing well this year.
You're listening to Friday Night Live on the Iowa Sports Connection Radio Network, a conversation with Simpson women's basketball coach Brian Niemuth. And, Coach Wilson there, a couple dozen years himself, probably was a little different when he departed the campus.
It was. He and I had been together a long time, and it was almost like an old married couple. We kind of knew what each other was going to do before they did it, and we worked well together. But Charles has been a good addition to to Simpson, and you know, he and I have known each other for a while, and that's working out well too.
Well, you might have rubbed off on him because the other night at the East game, I know you were out watching East and Urbandale play on the girls' side. He was out there to watch Urbandale and East on the boys' side, and he was wearing blue jeans, so maybe you're starting to rub off on him. I've never seen him out of a suit.
Well, I'm trying to get him to understand the importance of wearing the same clothes and not bringing out a new suit every time he steps out in public.
Yeah, you don't want to draw too much attention down there to Simpson, right?
That's right.
Well, Brian, let's continue to talk here about this basketball team. I know a young lady who was just a great athlete over at Saydell. You get the chance to coach her, Kathy Kane. How's her adjustment been for you?
She's been a great addition. She's a very good athlete and who has fit into our style of play extremely well. You know, she won a national championship last year when she played for Kirkwood Community College. She brings that experience to us. You know, she's kind of a double threat for us. She can shoot the three and she can put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. Because of the way we play with her style, it's been a great match.
Jamie, you know, usually hometown kids don't stay in Indianola to play for Simpson College, but you got yourself a nice one in Jamie Elbert as well.
Yeah, that's another All-State player from high school that we were lucky enough to get. And Jamie, you know, you're right. You know, they usually want to go away, and she went away for a year and figured out that Simpson is a pretty good school, and it's right in her backyard. And when she transferred back, I was very excited. She is very similar to Amy Hamilton, can shoot the three, very smart player, and she's added great depth to our program.
You know, you started out the season a little bit slow, but I think kids have kind of caught on. You guys are playing some pretty darn good basketball right now.
Yeah, the schedule at the beginning of the year was really tough, and I was going to fire the guy that put that schedule together, but you know, we got through it, and I think we're better for it, and right now I think it's paid off. I think we've won 13 in a row, and you know, we've learned that there are things we have to work on to get better, and hopefully, you know, we learn that early and we don't have to go through that process again.
Brian, the biggest question is the last 2 weeks down there have had to have been very tense. John Sirianni, the over-the-top Packer fan that he is, are you able to even live in that same building?
No, you got to avoid him. You know, you got to stay away and make sure he's got a little room and space. Hopefully the Packers win and everything will be good. But you know, he was a big Brett Favre fan too. So when the Vikings had that bad year, that hurt him a little bit too. But well, yeah, he is definitely a Packers fan.
The only two things John and I have alike are we're older gentlemen, and I was the same. I had to pull for number 4 for a while, as tough as it was, and unfortunately for Tony, I'm an over-the-top Packer fan. That's the bond that John and I have had the years we've known each other.
Well, that's good. You know, I'm a big Chiefs fan, so we had our turnaround this year. So I was happy with that, and I'm hoping that the Packers do well.
Well, something we both enjoy. I want to ask you: do you have any early Kentucky Derby hopefuls?
Not
we don't
yet.
have that much time, Tone.
But, yeah, not yet. But I do like to watch the horses run.
Well, you make sure you tell me when you find one, all right?
I certainly will.
All right, Coach.
Hey, Brian, thank you for taking time to join us on Friday Night Live. We look to further conversations with you on our Iowa Sports Connection. And tell GQ to tone it down for you, would you?
I certainly will. And thanks for having me again, guys.
All right, man. Hey, a quick score, a final. You know, I've been waiting to give this final. Bishop Heelan, 39. Sioux City East, 37. What a battle of Northwest Iowa powers in the pit. Sounds like a football score.
Must have been a real tough half-court game.
Woodbury fouled out.
Or a tough. He fouled out, and it's still 39-37. Not a lot of free throws then.
My correspondent, who's a doctor out there, called it a WWE game.
Okay.
So it must have been ugly and a lot of battling taking place. Yeah, you didn't know John Sirianni? Huge Packer fan.
You know, we don't have a lot of time, but one thing I've noticed, and I wonder someday if it's going to cost a lot of money, but as the schools change their gymnasiums to get to a bigger court, because really the game of basketball has become so athletic. The 84 high school 80-foot court is not big enough anymore.
Well, you've been to the pit. It's like a lunchroom.
Yeah.
You make a layup with the size of these kids, you're in the wall practically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
On
think they
both
need to
ends.
get the courts to extend out. It's a different day. Athleticism so much more. You need to spread it out a little bit.
And like you said, we still take the baskets. That's probably the scores. We're still taking the ball out of the basket up there in Elam. And that takes some time as well. We'll be back on Friday Night Live.